Hey everybody, this is Jeffrey Jansen, and I'm going to do a few things here. I apologize if I'm a little slow. We're here at the Quincy Park District, and I'm here with Mike Bruns. I'm going to let him introduce himself and everything else, and we are going over the stuff we've been talking about. And what we're going to do is just kind of give you some information on what you can and cannot do, things that we are going to, these are just suggestions. And I know a lot of you guys have been watching us and you've been asking questions. And if you have a question, come up on there. And as long as it's appropriate, I will ask. But this is just me with one of my good friends. Now, let me introduce Mike to you. And let me first tell you that I've known Mike for, about 25 years now?
Probably somewhere in that range.
Yeah, originally when I worked at the Quincy Park District, was it YMCA or was it Park District that we started? I think it was the YMCA.
I think it was YMCA.
Right, because Ann worked there first. My sister worked there first. Okay, and Mike is probably one of the nicest guys you can ever meet. I have never even heard him raise his voice before, and no, and he is one of these people that he has a vested interest in success of people when they come out, especially guys. I know he works a lot with high school and coming into college and stuff. And I know that he's been a godsend to the Quincy Park District for years, and that's the reason why I want to go to him, because he's going to have more insight than somebody that's new on the job or somebody in human resources that just came out of college. He's got a lot of insight. So I'm going to switch over and I'm going to introduce him, and I'm going to let him introduce himself, and it is now on Mike. And this is Mike Bruns, everybody. If you want to tell us a little bit about yourself, where you come from, your background a little bit.
Sure. I've been here at the Park District for over 25 years, and before that I had 10 years at the YMCA. So I've been in the recreational field for many, many years. Here at the end of my career, not too many more years left to do. So I've done a lot of hiring, firing, a lot of young kids. I mean, we hire probably close to 100 seasonal people that are usually high school and college age and those things through the thing. So we've got a lot of experience in those areas of working with kids and adults and all kinds of people in the job field. Recreation field.
So he's very qualified for doing what we are setting out to do. This is just kind of a talking back and forth, so don't, like I said, the first thing I want to know is when somebody's coming in for a job, and I don't mean when they come in for the interview, I'm talking about the initial approach. When guys are coming out of the military, which we originally started this for, they're looking for a job or they're looking to get hired on, and, the first question was, what is better? A resume or an application? Now, I know that in some cases it just depends. And so the first question is, if they pick up a phone and ask for an application, how would they approach if they want to look at the job? What's the first thing you think they should do just when actually looking for the job?
Sure. Most of our seasonal positions that we have, I treat seasonal and full-time differently. So our seasonal positions, which are most of our positions, application's fine. Some people put a resume with it, but most of our people, this may be their first job, so they don't really have a resume. So we have an annual job fair every March that we hold on during the week in early March, where lots of people can come fill out applications, learn a little bit about all the positions we have and those type things. So for our seasonal positions, an application is just fine. Now, most of our people get the application online at our website, quincyparkdistrict.com. That's where most people get the application. They fill it out, and then they can either email it to us or drop it off or whatever. We get some that come in and want an application, fill it out, but 10 years ago, that's probably the way most of them come in. Nowadays, most of them come in through email, where they'll send it to us either to a certain director individually or to the office in general, and then they pass it depending on what they want to do for the particular position, and then we'll call them for an interview and those type things. Now, for full-time positions, when we have full-time positions open, then the resume is very important, because we want a resume, cover letter, because it's a professional position that you're going to be in, maybe for a lot of years or whatever, those type things. So in those positions, we want a resume, we want a cover letter, we want it, if they come in to drop it off, they should be dressed appropriately, because the girls at the desk will make a note and let us know, saying, hey, this is how this person came in. So all that's important, that first impression, not just the interview when they come in and meet with me or the interview team, whatever it may be, on those type things. So that's vitally important. And even if you're just coming in to get an application, how you're dressed or clean is a good first impression. Now, I don't expect you to come in nice slacks and pants and a dress shirt, but just come in appropriately, and not wholly, jeans and ragged shirt and hair all messed up and things, because that's a first impression. Not very time am I going to see you when you come in and them first things, but the front desk staff will see, and they usually pass those things on to us when they do those type things. So all that's important. And with us, this is our seasonal position is a lot of first year jobs, so job experience isn't important to us. And a lot of our people, when they come to us, might be here 5-6 years, which is great for us. We might hire you when you're a sophomore in high school, and then you might work here through high school and then even in college when you come home. So we have you for 6 years, which looks really good on a resume, and you can build yourself up and move up the ladder. You may start, let's say, as a lifeguard or a front desk person at the pool, but before you leave in college, you might become manager of that facility. And then you have all that experience. So you can move up the ladder, and we've had lots of people do that. I've had kids that have worked here for a lot of years, have done internship, and now they're in the parks and rec field somewhere with different places. So it happens and those things. So that's sort of the things we look at in a long answer, I guess.
Right. Oh, no. And a couple other things. And I know it's just because of the new generation. And I know a lot of things are online now. And when I was talking with Troy earlier, I keep forgetting that things are online nowadays, including like applications.
Yeah.
But how important, now I know this just kind of left ball. We just automatically take it for granted because we're what we've always done. But how important when you come in is to say things like please and thank you, have a smile on your face. That professional. If you come in and you're with your friends, like if I came in with Jesus, I know I'd never get a job if I was coming in for a job because we'd be joking around too much.
Sure.
Because he's a Marine Corps buddy. But it's even what comes out of your mouth, and this is the reason why I'm doing this, is very important on, professionalism, because once you get a job in a place, you're representing that place, especially within the community. And if you're going to be working with people and you can't hold your tongue or have proper vocabulary, if you're cursing and stuff or saying negative jokes or bad jokes or joking around with the secretaries or whatever, that's to take into consideration also.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, if in an interview somebody cusses or done something, the interview's probably over and it's done. Because I have plenty of applications to go to and look, and I don't even mess around. It's over, you're done, goodbye, thank you for your time.
Now, with full-time, and this is for broad, everywhere in the United States, and just as a professional, and the reason why I'm thinking of more of your security, I'm thinking more of your maintenance, I'm thinking the guys that are here 24, and I'm not sure, like places give pensions and stuff like that. When we talk about full-time and having a resume, what are a couple key things that stand out that it doesn't matter if it's this job or another job, that you think if they were to put down on a resume that would stand out to be like, hey, that's good? And what are some things that you think that are, if you put this on here and I see it, more than likely I'm going to have second guess. I don't want this on there. We'll start with what are the positives and what are the negatives to put on an actual resume or even an application if you're going for what shouldn't be there.
Probably on a resume, different things. If I look and you've done a lot of community service or you've done a lot of volunteerism in college, I think that's a very positive thing. And you shouldn't be afraid to put any of that down. I mean, a lot of high schools now even require kids to do community service hours and do things for the community and things you've done with that. So without even maybe working or having a job sometimes, if you've done a lot in the community, a lot with volunteer organizations, that's a very positive thing to have on your resume, and you don't want to forget to put that down. References are important, but a lot of times, if it's your first job, most of the references you're going to put down are probably family. You know what I'm saying? So you're not going to get a lot out of that with those type things, but teachers, coaches are good people to put down as references for those type things. With that on for your seasonal position. Professional positions, you want to put those type things, your professional references. Hopefully maybe if you were at another job and they still liked you but you're leaving for a certain reason, those are good things to put down for us to check on and those type things. And always remember nowadays, whether you're a seasonal employee or a full-time employee, background checks are done very thoroughly on every employee before you even can work. So all that's done. So something small you may think doesn't matter could matter depending on what it is, because park districts are governed by certain ordinances and laws in the state of Illinois on background checks. Like you may be able to work somewhere for that, but at a park district being a state body, you may not be able to work. So that's why we do background checks on all volunteers, all employees, everything, to know those type things. So it's very important there. And also, I think very important for you to be honest on your application. You know, if you have done something and were convicted for, but it's paid and done, and those type things, be honest up front and admit that. Don't let us discover it later, because then it's a bad thing. You know, so up front, if you're honest, you know, and doesn't meet any of the ordinances that we have to follow, you might still be okay. But if you lied about it, then we find out about it, it's over.
Right.
So it's always great to be honest, be upfront with those type things. Negative things, the only thing that really comes to my mind on a resume is don't make it too long. Because if I get a resume that's over 2 pages, I'm not going to look at it. I'll tell you right now. You know, I love a 1-page resume. I think that's perfect. I think you can get everything you want in it. But the longer they get, it's not going to happen. I think of that by emails. There's certain people that send emails and they get really wordy and it takes forever. I'm not going to read the whole thing. It's not going to happen. So it's better to be bullet points and concise and quick, you know, in your emails and even on your resumes. Because, you know, hopefully put the things that you think will get that person's attention depending on what that job is. Those are the things. So if you've done anything, and let's say you're in a recreation field, even if you've been a volunteer coach somewhere, that might be something to put in for if you're looking for a recreation job that'll get that person's attention. But when you just try to put stuff in to fill up the pages, at least with me, and I think a lot of people, that they're not going to take the time to read it to begin with.
Okay. And let's go over grammar a little bit and wording. Sure. You know, use your words wisely. I always say have a third party look it over before you let anybody else, because sometimes we make mistakes that we no longer see because it's like a fly on the wall.
Because you've looked at it so many times.
Exactly.
Yeah, so you don't see it exactly. You should always have somebody else proof your stuff. Yeah, because those stand out. Misspelled words, really bad grammar, sentences stand out. I mean, certain grammar you're fine with, but misspelled words, easy misspelled words, those things, I mean, if you just take the time, you're not going to have that mistake. So if you don't take the time to proof it, that's telling me something, that how bad do you want this job, or if you get this job, how dedicated or how hard you're going to work if you won't take an extra 15-30 minutes to really proof your information before you send it to us.
Okay. Now, once they come in and they get called in for the interview, just let's go over what they should wear compared to what they shouldn't. What should they be talking about compared to what they shouldn't? You know, what are some turn-ons and turn-offs, meaning, you know, what are some positives that they can do? And then what are some really that you see all the time going on, but it's like once they do it or once they're wearing it, I was kind of giving an example the other day. I was talking about if you come in your suit, you look like a wrinkle bomb. Doesn't matter if you got a suit or not. You're a wrinkle bomb. You're not taking the job seriously. Do your homework with the job. I kind of say make sure you study before you go in so you know about the person you're interviewing, know about the job position. So, and go.
Exactly. With that question there, I always may ask some things about different programs, and I can tell if a person's done their homework, you know, especially for the full-time positions, because we have a very developed website, so anybody could get on there and look, and when they answer a question saying, well, I see you had this program or that program, that's telling me that they are very interested, they've done some homework, they've looked it up. I always give people a chance to ask questions during the interview, especially at the end about things, and I can tell if they've done homework about the park district and looked things up. That's very good to do. If a person that's a seasonal employee does something like that, that's going to get your attention just like that, because you're not expecting that, and I'm not expecting that. And I'm not expecting a person coming in for a seasonal position, high school or college, to be in a suit and tie or anything like that. A lot of them will come, you know, in their school clothes or jeans, and as long as they're neat looking and fine and you know, and that type of stuff, I'm good with. You know, I don't expect them to wear dress pants or dress shirt or any of that stuff. I'm okay with that for seasonal positions. Now, a professional position, you come in jeans, it's going to ring a factor in me. I'm going to think about it or those type things. But the main thing is we get so many kids' first jobs is just to relax. We try to make them feel relaxed. Easy questions to start with, get them talking a little bit because most of the time they're really quiet, and you want to get them talking and learn a bit about. And I can tell in the first 30 seconds if I want to hire this person. Sometimes I'm wrong, but not very often. And my staff's starting to get good with that, with interviewing people, because you can just tell the way they come across, the way they greet you, the way they talk. If they know you, they'll say, "Hi, Mr. Bruns," when they come in. Those things all have an effect on you. Those type things. So, when they first come in, shake their hand. That type of stuff. All that stuff I think is important. Those type things to do, and you can tell pretty quickly. And there may be some that aren't that way. And as you gradually talk to them, they relax more. You learn more about them, and they're becoming more relaxed, and you can see there, what we might want to do.
That's awesome. Okay. Is there anything else that you might want to add while we're doing? Like I said, we're just kind of going off the cuff here because,
Sure.
Like I said, there's a lot of people. Nobody really asked any questions, but there's a lot of people watching right now.
Yeah.
I only got about 2,000 people watching right now, so you're good
right.
on 3 different
I was
networks.
hoping for 10,000, but I guess I'll settle for 2. But no, we start early hiring for our spring-summer programs. That's when we hire most of the people. In the fall, winter, we start slowing down. Winter, we're really slow but fall, we're still busy, but not as busy as spring-summer. So February, March is when we look to employ people. So I always tell people, if you're interested, get an application in January. You know what I'm saying? Get it in early. We may not talk to you till February, but you got something in. And then we go from there on the information. But, because some people will call the 1st of May saying, "What do you got?" And usually by then we're already booked. We already got our old lifeguards hired, everybody hired, and things like that. So we do the process in February, March, and April basically to hire all our staff for our different positions for the summer. And then full-time, they just open up when they can open up. We've just recently had a full-time position open up, and we're advertising right now for a recreation program manager in my department. So that's out on the street. You can go to QuincyParkDistrict.com, and it's listed there. And you can send in a resume and things, and we'll be doing interviews later in July for that position. So.
Now, just kind of go over real quick. The reason why I went over to Mike, not only do I know him, but he actually hired my sister on first. That's why I believe you were the one who did the interview with her. I don't think I did the interview with you. If I did the interview with him, I would have never got hired. No, but my sister, to give you an idea how good of a judge, my sister's probably one of my heroes. Don't ever tell her I said that. But she now is in Park and Recs at Forest Park. She helped build a couple recreation centers and stuff. And not only does she have 3 kids, she's a workaholic. She's probably one of the great, she's got her kids in sports and everything else. But she came through somebody like Mike who gave her a chance, and then she gave me a chance. So in other words, now she hires based on kind of how Mike hires a little bit. And I've seen how she does it in St. Louis. Now she's got a broader range of people to hire from.
Sure. Because
our town's 20,000 or no. But it starts with one person. So if you want to talk with an expert, think about it. What he has hired has been going all over the United States now. So technically, he's a good judge of character, So, watch your language when you're going in there. Say please and thank you. Courtesy counts. Right? Proofreading your applications. Iron your clothes. Be honest up front. And be sociable. Don't be nervous. Try to relax. I'm thinking that's kind of a big one. Parks and Recs feels a little bit more relaxed than some of the others.
Yeah.
But it's also one of the entry jobs. You'll start here before you go somewhere else, so you can actually relax a little bit more. But then when you go on college, like you said, and then you go for the bigger jobs, tie, suit, want to look nice, your resume is important. Then they're going to watch and critique everything. They're going to say they can't because of laws, but this is reality. Reality is this: if you're a good person and you want the job, you do your research and study, and you go in with a good head on your shoulders, you got a better shot. And that's what it's all about. What can you do to have a better shot? So Mike, thank you very much. I really
welcome.
appreciate your time and everything else. And thank you. Let me bring in my daughter Gracie, who's probably over here falling asleep, who one day, and I appreciate her because she's my little helper today and everything else. And thank you for what you do with the Quincy and for the veteran there and everything else. I know you've been doing a lot with us, and we got a cardboard boat regatta coming up here pretty soon. And
end of July.
I know Shane thinks the world of you, and everybody that's ever worked for you. So, and we appreciate you. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Let me turn these off now somehow.